global happenings today. We communicate, we analyze global news. Stay tuned.
Hello fam, welcome back to our channel. Fairly recently, a lot of things have happened in Nigeria in the political scene, security-wise, that has caused a lot of Nigerians to get worried if Nigeria will still remain as an entity come 2023, or if we will go our separate ways into different regions and all that. Balarabe came out some weeks back and talked about the issue of Nigeria being divided into 6 regions to save Nigeria from total breakup and collapse. Well, some persons agreed with him. Some persons said, okay, that you can still work as a unit. Well, Olusegun Obasanjo has also spoken out over the issue of the way ethnicity is taking the order of the day, the way Nigeria is being run. He's quite worried that the former president, that's Dr. Olusegun Obasanjo, says without restructuring of Nigeria's federating units, the country will remain insecure, unstable, non-progressive, and stagnated at best, or disintegrated at the worst. Obasanjo noted that the federal government is overwhelmed with the spat of insecurity, making restructuring imperative. He spoke already in Abeokuta about this whole issue. He said the lecture, which he actually titled COVID-19 Pandemic and Nigerian Security Issues and the Way Forward, was organized. He said the former president accused government at all levels of ineffectiveness, calling on Nigerians to launch and promote such a crusade on the slogan "Security Matters to All, No Security, No Nigeria." It should actually come to that level. Our level of security in Nigeria is really, really important. But let's continue. He said, let us take initiative and spearhead actions that will involve government and the governed and will devolve security architecture, apparatus, arrangement, and responsibility in subsidiarity. So papering over the obvious cracks in Nigerian polity is not the answer. Tearing up or seeking disintegration is also not the solution. I can assure you, sir, Biafrans will not agree with you in this one. They want to leave. They are shouting. They want to go. So they are telling you that's the only solution. Each time we talk about unity of one Nigeria, they tell you, no, Biafra over there. But let's continue. Let's still hear what Baba is saying. I'm talking about Olusegun Obasanjo. He says, remaining silent makes us accomplices and irresponsible. So you see, all this while they've been keeping quiet. So he actually felt guilty, because they felt that they ought to have started talking over this issue of insecurity. Now, them not talking makes them look as if they're also part of the game. He has now started speaking of that there's need for restructuring. He's hoping that we should, as a country, should not break up, but we should restructure so that every region will take care of whatever issues that are peculiar to their region. Take, for instance, the northern part of Nigeria. Their issues is insecurity is one of the major challenges that is bedeviling that particular region. So if there's restructuring, they will hamper 80%, if not 90% of their resources on security issues, and that will go a long way to dealing with such insecurity. But let's continue. He said that the solution lies in men and women involved with courage, nationalism, patriotism, commitment, foresight, and love in critical mass to spearhead the crusade for new Nigeria. So let us launch and promote such a crusade on the slogan "Security Matters to All," or "No Security, No Nigeria," and the time is now, he said. So delay is postponing the evil day. Failure to act now will lead to more frustration, greater despair, and larger mentality and feeling that may lead to action of break it up. Let's all break it all up now. Let's break it all up now, which is already what the Biafrans are saying. Some part of Oduduwa has already started speaking up anyway over this whole issue. He said, now, let's continue. He has enough for what he went further to say. They say, may God forbid that, and may God, who I have always described as a Nigerian, save Nigeria. He's still talking about one Nigeria, unity of Nigeria, but restructuring of this same one Nigeria. He said, but we should be mindful that God's patience has limits of elasticity. Hence, we must not continue to tempt him. May God save and bless Nigeria, which is his creation and which he endures with adequate human and natural resources for the security, development, welfare, well-being, progress, and happiness of all its inhabitants. God is not to blame. He has played his part as he has well catered for us. And what we make of it is ours. And if we fail, we must blame ourselves. Speaking on COVID-19 era, he called for proper attention to food availability, security, employment, and economic diversification. The second is employment and job security. The third is change in the pattern and style of living, including traveling. The fourth is innovation, science, technology, digitalization, and artificial intelligence. So the fifth is local content, raw materials and substitutes. So the sixth is diversification of the economy and enhancement of export commodities. So it is up to us to take these 6 areas very seriously, with good leadership and right policy, and with the public and private sectors working together and the civil society joining hand. All the 6 areas can be taken care of, and we can safely put the pandemic behind and move the country forward. He said, I hope that Africa as a continent will emerge economically stronger from COVID-19. For us in Nigeria, we have no alternative but to get it right. Otherwise, the future will be worse than the present, that is uncertain and bleak, with economic downturn and pervasive insecurity, he said. Now, that's really the news, basically what he meant. But now let's look at this properly. Sometimes when you are in the sideline, it's easier for you to prefer solution. I would say this. When Olusegun Obasanjo, the former president of Nigeria, was in the seat, I would have felt that he would have done same. He would have, all these things he's talking about now, he would have implemented it. Imagine if he had done regionalization, as in broken Nigeria into separate, strong, formidable region. These whole issues won't have come into play. Okay, the central won't have had the whole power. That's why everybody wants to. The North want to remain in power for probably forever. Really, except maybe we are trying to put them on their toes and insist that it comes to the South. But if not, the North, having tested power, do not want to relinquish it, because the center has immense power given to it. Imagine where true federalism takes place, where the regions are having much more power. The center is just for figurehead. Who would want to go to figurehead and go and stay? Every region now will want to develop themselves. The likes of those in the northeast, southeast now will take their time, develop their region. Imagine now you have to travel down to the southeast to buy shoes, or at least about made shoes. You have to go to southeast, travel down to southeast to get innocent motors, because every region now will begin to work on that which they have the strongest point. And for those in the north, some of them maybe the issue of granite export, the issue of exporting cow, beef meat, as in beef, and the rest. Everybody will look at the one they have comparative economic advantage and begin to work towards it. Before you know it, you see a bigger and a better Nigeria. One would have expected that one former president Olusegun Obasanjo, Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, was in the corridor of power, was the president of Nigeria. One would have expected him to have done this. How come he's now remembering that Nigeria needs to, do this? The ethnicity bigotry has taken over the issue of true development, where sometimes around square pegs and round holes is what we put just for economic for economic decisions that is real in Nigeria. Fairly recently, a lot of companies like Mr. Price that is situated in Abuja, another part of the country, are deeming there are 4 branches. They're supposed to have like 5 branches in Nigeria. They are deeming that they're now threatening to, they've closed all 4 remaining one. They said they can't stay. The lockdown, the economic situation is now hard. Things are not moving the way it ought to. So you just find out that Nigeria is looking, as with so much borrowing. Honestly, I'm just wondering, restructuring, if there's no breakdown. But the question is, even the government of this day, this dispensation, is not even thinking restructuring. They still want to give almost all the power to the center, so that at the end of the day, whatever decision that has been taken, there is this executive order that wants to override any other decision, giving them absolute power. And this may not all go well, generally. But if you ask me, in the midst of the same one Nigeria, okay, if they're talking about one Nigeria, the only option that seems to be okay to the ears is restructuring. But other than that, a lot of persons are demanding for breakup. Okay, a whole lot of persons are demanding that they're actually tired of Nigeria. They want to move on. They've been in this Nigeria and they've been marginalized over and over again. That they don't want to stay again. They want to move. Just like every other marriage, if it's no more nice, you want to divorce. So I feel that the Biafrans already have made up their mind. But if there's a way they can still be reached out, well, good luck to whoever. But this will go beyond just in talking. There needs to be ready actions as things are already unfolding. But that's where we're going to round it up. What's your take on Chief Olusegun Obasanjo's opinion over Nigeria, that if proper care is not taken, we are seeing total break up of Nigeria, which he said, God forbid, that they're looking forward to, if they can restructure, to save Nigeria from total collapse. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Stay tuned for more updates on this.